say that is that I've been at Unitec for 9 years, and I've got a colleague who's been waiting for e-learning, and I've sort of went, oh yeah, that'll be cool. And then I came along to this course that these fellows were running, and I was trying to get things together for how we were going to change our delivery and how we were going to be student-centred and how we were going to be constructivists, because that's what I am now. Last week I couldn't spell constructivist, and now I is one. and I truly believe that. And so I've done a lot of trialling this year, which has been part of what's made me believe. All these blogs you can see here are my student blogs, most of them. There's a couple of private ones in there. Isn't it interesting? The private ones are anonymous. And at the start of the year, all my students had private blogs, and if you look down that list there, the only anonymous or private ones in that list, including me, they're all public. And they start getting followers. Now, I introduced blogs to them a little bit late, and I was new to blogging, and we did all sorts of things wrong. For instance, I started by demanding, if you like, that their blogs became what I assessed them from, and that was totally wrong, totally inappropriate. It didn't allow the social networking to work around that. It wasn't a safe place for them to write, because it was going to be assessed. Whereas as a underpinning, which is how I'm approaching it now, in other words, a logbook, which is a good nautical term for us, where we can discuss things openly and people can put their reflections, it works very, very well. And then taking that as a basis of their full learning history for the year and putting that into an assessment form such as Google Docs or one of those collaborative type arrangements is really successful. But what I'd like to show you here, a couple of things actually. I'll click on, I don't really know, I'll just click on one. Here we are, here's a young Asian student, Jeff. Not actually one I was looking for, it doesn't matter. So this is Jeff, who's quite a shy person, very diligent person, hell of a nice guy, but a little bit scared for a lot of the year to sort of speak his mind and ask questions. But through his blog here, I got to know him quite well and was able to have a conversation with him. On Sunday night, I spent maybe 2 hours, because my contact teaching with these guys is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so there's no point in me reading the blogs on a Friday night. I'll wait until I'm sober. And then I could come in, I could start a conversation right where they've left off, or they've started the conversation and they've come in and said, oh, that comment you gave me about the share line or this or that, and straight away you're not wasting time, it's just bang into the conversation. There's no pussyfooting around, it's just in. So that was really, really exciting for me. I also ran a blog myself. I had to run two. I ran one with the SLT group, which is the Social Learning Technologies group, which was I'm going to talk about in a second. I also ran a blog that was my logbook, much the same way Kamuka was saying, and I know other guys are doing it with their groups as well, where the students can see you doing the same thing, noting down what's good and bad about the year, reflecting on it and that sort of thing. I think that's pretty important. And now that I'm a bit more brave, I have that published all the time. I don't care if the world sees it, it's great. I didn't think that the first time. I do think there's also a process, and it's a 5-step process that I think it was Gray wrote about. We had quite a lot of readings through, and Gray's got a 5-step process of blogging and what happens when you blogging and learning, and it's very, very appropriate, it's very true, and it starts off with that fear, people not so comfortable in there, particularly digital immigrants that haven't been stamped for the visa yet and that sort of thing, and you do go through that process. It does take a little while to feel safe, so by keeping it private for a while, you can kind of reflect in it and you can do a bit of editing. And that's happened for me. If I find my one here, one of mine, I'll do the opening. Oh, here we go. I don't know what's here. So I actually linked a couple together, but I don't want to go there at the moment. Carry on too long on it. One of the situations I found myself in this year, excuse me for a second, let's get on this thing. One of the situations I found myself in this year, this is not what I'm looking for. Sorry. I'm actually going to go back to my dashboard on the little one. No, it's not. Anyway, that's what we're giving out SLT quite early on. So here's my SLT blog, and that was actually very valuable in this year because we talk about communities of practice and that sort of stuff, and I can never kind of get my head onto these things of saying, what is a community of practice? Well, now I can tell you what I think it is. It's things like at 10 minutes before you rush into your class in the morning, going having a ginger nut with your mate and talking about what we're doing around e-learning. It's having people come in at lunchtime to an area where you're just chatting about things. It's also, surprised I'm going to say this, but it's also around if you have access and availability to the software and the web applications and possibly wireless devices, you start having things like Twitter. I mean, Twitter, I gave it quite a derogatory term there when I first looked at it. Oh, well, that's nonsense. I can just text someone, but I'm wrong. And the readings were really important to me. I don't spend a lot of time sitting down reading education, blah, blah. But when I had a goal for putting it in, which was to post blogs from reading, I started to recognise how much I was learning. And I started to recognise that, okay, I do a course where the guys are doing a lot of manual work, but there's also a lot of value in the reading. We have trouble getting them to read. But they have to post a blog about it, and it's worth, somebody else here was talking about a value they put to each blog post, exactly what we need. So one of the challenges we've got is convincing the hard and fast rule of Unitech where all your assessment events are kind of set in stone. We've got to try and be able to break that out, and I'm a bit fearful of that, where we might need to have 30% of our assessments as being quite negotiable and quite fluid. That's going to be a challenge. Well, I'll just show you this here, because I had what I call my eureka moment. And my eureka moment came 38 hours after my hernia operation.
Something like that, yep.
So I was sort of isolated for a week before it and a week after my hernia operation, basically. And I was talking to guys through Google Chat, through video links with them, and just working out how to save stuff like that, and going through a whole lot of different tools and stuff. And this is the morning after I had my eureka evening. Play on screen.
Yep.
Okay, so go to the next one.
I'm good. I'm just going to record this if you don't mind. I'll just try and get this sorted. I tried recording just before that I ended up having the wrong person in front of me. I thought, oh, that's interesting. And so I stopped it and didn't get it going again properly. Hey, I've just had a moment last night while doing my writing. I like that smile, thank you.
I hadn't had a movement by that stage.
No, you weren't. I have been leaning towards constructivism as a framework, and as usual, looking at things a little bit back to front. And finally had a colleague send me a piece of writing that I absolutely couldn't take my eyes off, and everything's slotted in place, so I'm very pleased at the moment. Just one other thing I just want to touch base with you on is most of my SLT blog is on Blogger. That's okay? Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I just wanted to make sure it was all right. I've been in contact with some of the people that I've been reading, and some of them are sort of offshoots from the other readings that you guys have set us, and I hope that's okay. I've sort of taken a two-pronged approach. One is along the lines of facilitating at Unitech how we, base this stuff, and the other now is more a personal journey, so it's good, really good. Okay, mate, is there anything you need to speak to me about? Thanks, mate. I'll catch up. Bye.
Spell my name right.
Okay, probably the value of that is not so much just my personal journey, which I'm wrapped about, but the communication that went on there was a lot of communication that went on there. And there was some things I referred to, such as the readings and such as how the readings took me to other places. And so one of the big things that was a shock to me, if you like, was not so much, there was a lot of things coming into the course. I thought, oh yeah, we're going to learn this and that and the other. And then I went, holy macaroni, I've learned all this, or I've got this new perspective on things. So my actual career took a change. I went, wow, I is a constructivist now. And I believe this because of this and this and this and this. And a lot of those things, like I said, getting in touch with people in Aussie, I actually found an old mate of mine I haven't seen in 30 years. He's a professor of music in Townsville. Oh, gosh, there you are. And so we're getting together next year, so that's neat. But, there's a whole lot of community outside of the COP that we think we're building, and the mobile devices help. Absolutely, there's no doubt about that, although I don't think it's reliant on just tools. It's a mentality, it's a need to go in one direction. And then the thing that got me the most though, and it's appropriate that it's social learning technologies. Remember when we first started talking about it? And I took a photo of that stuff on the board. I've still got that. And I was arguing, why isn't it societal learning technologies and all that? But it became very social. People were getting back to me. I'd say, hey, would you mind if I referenced you for some work I'm doing? I'd like to reference what you've written. Oh, absolutely. They're coming back full of, yeah, rip into it sort of thing. And that was a very social thing, And what I recognised was that there was this smallish group of us, but then there was all the stuff happening around the outside of it. Twitter helped me see it, but so did other things help me see it. And I finally recognised for the first time in my life, because I was actually analysing every step, the first time in my life I stopped and analysed, not just reflected on what I was trying to learn, but reflected on how that learning was happening, and looked at every single piece of information, if you like, around where that new knowledge came from. What made me now believe this? What displaced my old knowledge from the new knowledge? What did that? And in the end, I did. Because in the end, I had to say that I've challenged my old knowledge. It's got some failings in it. These people are saying this. I've experienced it because we were doing experiential stuff with our students. Now I can put my hand on the heart and say, yeah, actually, that is right. It does work. It is that way. And I actually went through that thing myself. So I was actually analysing myself more than my students. And it just blew me away. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. I don't know if this is the first level 7 course I've ever done in my life. If they're all like this, it's bloody good. One other thing I'll do is I sort of had to wear, like I said in that video there, I had to kind of wear two hats, because I also appreciate that, Unitech is saying, go for it, yeah, and whoosh, whoosh, yeah, riding cowboy, rawhide. But the fact of the matter is, they are unlikely to come up with funds we need for the resourcing of all this. So we've got to, I've got the real pessimistic view. I'm saying we'll probably get 20% of what we think we should have to do this. So I kind of step back from it a wee bit and say, I'm on the chalk face all the time.